Hello everybody, welcome back to Shane's Squirrel Shack, where we talk about autism awareness and all of that. And I want to thank you for tuning into today's video. And with that, I want to share what it was like for me, being an autistic in middle school. And I was thinking today, like, hey, if I want to actually take Squirrel Shack and do like public speaking with it, I would like to be able to talk to different age groups. And it got me thinking, what is the most important age group to talk to? Right now, where I'm standing, in my opinion, without too terribly much research. And I think that's middle schoolers. And I really think that it is such a crucial group to talk to when it comes to helping others out and helping them understand those with differences. Granted, when we're entering adolescence, we are entering a stage of a new state of mind, a new body, a new understanding of the world, and some take that on in very different ways, especially if you're an autistic. You might not get a lot of that. Even if you're not one, I think it is a really crucial age to be able to be well equipped to help those out who are going through a different experience with adolescence. And so I think a good way to do that is to tell you what not to do. The experience that I hope so many kids don't have to go through. And I'm going to share mine with you real quick. And, middle school was brutal. And I'm sure if you asked anyone, most kids, most adults now would go back and reflect, or what's the worst period of your life or your academic career? And they'll say middle school, because middle schoolers can be awful. I'm a middle schooler anymore, but middle schoolers were awful. And it was a time in my life where I had just moved to a new state. I had moved from Chicago, and I was at a point where I was really wanting to start making friends. Now, rewind just a little bit. Making friends in Chicago as a kid was near impossible. I always had to ask my dad or my mom to contact so-and-so's parents to set up a play date, because I didn't have it socially in me to actually be able to ask, hey, can we have a play date? Can we hang out? Can we do this or that? The only real way I would get to hang around kids was at birthday parties. Now, let's go to 5th grade. And that started some very interesting things. So I was drawn to this group that, they were well-known kids. You might want to call them the populars. And they were the guys who people would scoot like their little seat at lunch over to make sure that group had a spot. And I don't know why I was drawn to that. Middle school mind, it's like, oh, they're the cool ones. People move for them. They're popular. They have status because people react to what they do. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be reacted upon. And I wasn't doing that. So what did I do? I tried to the very best that I could to start being around them, so to say. And I'm going to really try the best in my memory to be able to recreate kind of what happened. And so these guys, they were into film. They were making YouTube videos. Now keep in mind, we're talking 2008 YouTube. We're talking the 90% pixelated 2-minute video YouTube, guys. Some of y'all were just little kiddos around this time. I realize that some of my people who are watching this are still teenagers. So we're talking the old school proto YouTube, before we had advertisements on our videos, guys. There was a time where your YouTube videos didn't have advertisements. Whoa. Anyways, so they would make these videos, and I wanted a part of it. I wanted to act. I wanted to be a part of learning how to make film. Maybe that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Who knows? But how I thought you communicated with said people to create a relationship is you had these long conversations with them on the phone. I would talk to the said kid for an hour, and I thought that was the norm. And a part of me was a little fearful I kept that conversation going because I was afraid that would be the last time I would have that conversation with said person. And so I was doing whatever I can to take advantage of that social exchange that I was going through at that time. So, and I was trying to do the very best I could with that, and I would go way out of my way to invite myself into their group or their play dates or doing this or that. And I didn't know properly how to socially interact. So you look back at my IEP back then, my IEP was more focused on putting me in certain classes to help me with certain ways of learning and having a student aide, making sure that I wasn't causing trouble and kind of staying in line. Excuse me. And nothing about that was learning how to properly socialize. And I think that's something that really needs to change in IEP curriculum is, finding, creating plans to help kids with autism learn how to socialize or to be up, because this is detrimental, guys. This is a crucial, I don't want to say detrimental. This is a crucial time, as it could be detrimental on kids with autism, and I'll get to that in just a second. Because here I am trying the very best with various people to try and fit in. And one day I wanted to talk to the kid, and his friend gets in the way, he's in the other room and I'm trying to head that way, and his friend comes out and she's like, he thinks you really annoying, right? And I remember my heart sinking and never really talking to him in that way again. And I remember, there was some resolution, and because I still thought they were like this gang, a group of people that, I don't know if I said this in this video or not, but I thought we were part of a gang, man. Gang, man. Gang, man. Just because I thought a gang was a collective of people. We were a gang. I didn't know the damage that gang members and gangbangers, whatever you want to call it, actually do. I was 5th grade, autistic and naive. I probably had the mindset of a 7 or 8 year old. But eventually he cleared it he talked with me. He's like, we're not a gang, and I need space and all of that. I think a teacher told him to talk to me or something and found the words, and there was a little resolution but not peace. And that started a really bad trend for me where I was terrified of making friends because of that. I was terrified. I refused to let anybody in my life because I was afraid at one point they'd think I'm annoying or not. And so I remember 6th grade, I was sitting alone pretty much at the lunch tables. Actually, no. The only reason I had people sitting next to me is because we had assigned seats at lunch. And they did not like me. They were talking to everyone who had the assigned seats around me were talking to everyone else around that table except me. When there weren't assigned seats, I was alone at a lunch table. I was alone at recess. Everyone was on the playground and I was sitting in the shadows. Because and no one really wanted to play with me. 6th grade play. That sounded weird. Anyways, and keep in mind, I often came off weird. I was, and I mentioned this in videos before, but I did this thing where every day in middle school, up until 8th grade, I wore a suit and tie to school. I wanted to be like James Bond with the slick back hair. Pierce Brosnan was my idol as a kid. And I wanted to be that, but not really anybody else. And so, by the way, 8th grade, I did take it down to biz casual. I was wearing something like this every day instead of with a suit and tie. I did kind of make some progress there. But, guys, I just remember not really having any friends from 6th to 7th grade. And any time that people did want to come around me, I shut them down. I was afraid. One of my best friends I still have to this day, anytime he tried to come over, he lived down the road, I'd run off. I don't understand, and I feel awful about that, and it's funny because he's still my best friend to this date. As you might notice, Shane Squirrel Shack is in a new location. It's because he and I got a house together. So, talk about progress there, guys. He's my best friend still, and we got a house together with this girlfriend, and I am so stoked. Squirrel Shack's got a new location, new goals, and all of that. Anyways, back to this. I was terrified. And then it was 8th grade where things started to change. There was a girl at the time, and she started inviting me to her little table, and I had a crush on her one friend. I think that's what drew me towards that, and we started hanging out. They were very Christian at the time, so we started going to confirmation and all of that. That was an outlet for me, and while I have very different spiritual preferences now, that was a way that helped me really socialize, was going to confirmation, hanging out with said people, and being in that intimate kind of tight space where we're all learning something really intense together. And I think that really helped me. And it helped me kind of get over that fear of everyone thinks I'm annoying, this, and that, because they were just as giggity and goofy as I was, and it made me realize that there are people like that in this world. And so I say this because, guys, middle schoolers, talking to them, and it is so crucial that they get the right training, I want to say, to help bring those up with various disabilities in their environment. Because I don't want anybody else to have to go through what I did. It's watching every other kid on that playground have fun during recess as no one approaches you, as you sit down in the shadows as if you're doing everybody a favor. I ask, if you're a parent or you're a brother of someone who has a kid, whether autistic or not, in middle school, guys, I pray, I hope, I can only hope that we better equip these kids for the future. And I guess some things that I can recommend, for the future of helping those out with autism or various disabilities, and that really needs to change with curriculum, not just curriculum towards those like IEP-wise, but we need to change how we teach kids in that adolescent developmental phase how to help someone who's autistic, how to be a friend, how to be a resource. And these are only conversations at this point, and these conversations need to become resolution. They need to become policy. They need to become plans, instead of me just sitting behind this, in front of this camera, telling you guys things need to happen. We need to take this beyond and do that, and that's a mission that I have. That's something I really want to do, and I didn't plan on making this video or any video today, but I'm just like, this is crucial. This is crucial. We need change in this age group, because again, I want to talk to various age groups and different focus groups and all of that, and throughout what I want to do with Squirrel Shack, but middle schoolers is the most crucial. Most crucial, because that could be so damaging to those who have various mental and developmental illnesses or disabilities or difficulties. I don't like to say it's ill, like, are you ill, you're sick, ew. No, so, not at all. So I just thought I'd get on the camera today and just kind of share that, and hope that this is just a start of, some change in that area. So I'll leave it off of that. If you like what you saw, give it a like, give it a comment, subscribe. Let's get the Squirrel Shack larger, and let's get some more people hanging out in the Squirrel Shack. And with that, thank you so much, and we'll be back. Thank you.